respiratory organs. So if we take here, to this only, whenever we are breathing, both by lungs as well as skin. Few animals, for example, if we'll take, understanding, frog, it can do the respiration through the lungs as well as skin. So that is why when we'll breathe, understanding, particularly for frogs, understand, they can breathe by both the lungs as well as skin. Like reminding all the things, they can only breathe through the lungs. We cannot breathe through the skin. That is what you should remember. Understand, Ra? So till here you write it fast, all of you. And 1 point bracket you can remember, frog. So frog can do the respiration through what? Frog both
Skin and lungs.
As well as skin. That is what you should remember. After the 5th point, you should write that point. So till there you finish it, later we will continue. Do it fast, all of you. Is there any doubt in this? You ask me, please. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Carry on. Arya, are you writing? Dina?
Yes, sir.
Do it. What is the respiratory organ in amoeba, single cellular organisms? Nobody is answering. Kevin?
Cell membrane.
Cell membrane.
Okay, let me write it. Cell membranes. Okay, completed?
Oh, sir.
Do it fast. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now you see, let us come to here now are presently like multicellular organisms like humans, frogs, lizards, birds, we are there. So now here if you'll observe, so what is the respiration process? Can you able to see? Let me see who is remembering at least anything about this respiration process. What will happen? The gas is entering and I am breathing, oxygen is going inside. So it is going to the lungs. So through the lungs, who is absorbing? From the lungs, somebody is absorbing. Who is that? Who can absorb oxygen from the lungs?
Sir.
Alveoli, sir.
No. Blood. Because we have a common transport on this, all the animals is blood. Is it yes or no? So if we take here, once the air enters the skin or lungs, skin in the sense of only frog, don't think that any other organ. So if you observe, understanding the oxygen containing air means the air which contains oxygen, which will be entering into the skin or lungs. Skin or lungs. So that I am not asking that lungs, which part again will absorb? Lungs. So the blood absorbs the oxygen and transport it to various tissues of animals. Is it yes or no? So each and every cell, blood only will carry the oxygen. That is only used to called as oxygenated blood. Is it yes or no, Ra?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So once the skin or lungs will be given to this oxygen to the blood, understand? So the blood will be supplied to the all all the tissues, and after respiration process, again they will be bring back what? Again the same blood or skin. What will happen? The blood, what will happen? The blood will brings it back the skin or lungs for throwing it the carbon dioxide outside. So after respiration, carbon dioxide will be released. This carbon dioxide again, which will be carried through the blood only. So this blood will be supplied again through what? Again through skin or lungs, so that it will be, what will happen? It will be out into the what? Out into the air. Is it yes or no? All of you.
Yes, sir.
So it will start with the air. It will start with the air and again ends with the air. So from the air, oxygen is entering into the skin or lungs. So from the lungs, it will be entering into the blood. So the blood only, it will transport it to various tissues. Understanding means all the tissues of the animals. So that what will happen? After the respiration, blood will pick up the carbon dioxide from the tissues and brings it back to the where? Brings it back to the communication in our lungs. So that through that, again, it will be throwing outside into the air. So this is what happening in our respiratory system. Suppose if we will take, we cannot exchange the gases through skin, but only our lungs. So oxygen will be absorbed by the inhaling through our nose. So nose to where it will go, sir, directly? Lungs. So lungs to who will absorb? Who will absorb? Blood will be absorbed.
Blood.
This oxygen, and it will be transported throughout the body. Understand? Throughout the body. So again, when the respiration is over, again the same blood, deoxygenated blood, means it will absorb the carbon dioxide gas and again it will give it to the lungs. So that what will happen? The lungs will be sending outside with the process of what? Again, exhaling. Inhale and exhale. So that is what the process is happening in our multicellular organisms. Understand? So if we'll observe here, unicellular organisms and a few organisms, those don't have a blood. If you'll observe, how many of you killed cockroach? How many of you killed cockroach at least once in your life? Cockroach.
Sir.
Have you killed
Yes, sir.
cockroach?
Yes, sir.
Is
Yes,
there
sir.
any having inside?
Sir.
Is there any
Yes, sir.
blood?
Yes, sir.
Is there any blood inside?
Sir, white color, sir. White color.
Colorless blood. White color, some like a fluid, it will be there. So if we take some animals, like some flies and all, understand? Suppose if we kill the grasshoppers also does not having a blood which will contains like red in color. Have you noticed it? No?
Yes, sir.
Like earthworm. Is it earthworm contains any blood?
Don't know, sir.
Don't know. It is also contains, but it will be present inside the soil, so that only the skin is the respiratory organ for earthworms. So if you observe here, multicellular organisms, understand, and unicellular organisms are different kind of organisms. Totally 5 different respiratory organs I have taught you now. Is it yes or no? 5 or 4? 5 different respiratory organs we have studied. Is it yes or no? One is what? First one, through the cell membrane. Next,
Cell
second,
membrane.
through the skin. And the third one is what? Through the gills. And fourth one is through the trachea. And the fifth one is through the lungs.
Lungs.
So these are the 5 respiratory things which we have discussed. Understand? Now, the common point arises. Sir, is it any common things between these all the respiratory organs? If you are saying that amoeba cell membrane, understanding, earthworm skin, fish or prawn, it is gills, and again some grasshoppers and all you are saying tracheas, and again human beings like animals we are saying that lungs. So is there any common points between these all the respiratory organs? Yes. So that is what we are going to study now. Most important thing. So if you observe all these respiratory organs, whether it is a skin, whether it is a gills, whether it is a trachea, or whether it is a lungs, it doesn't matter. They have 3 common features. How many? How many? 3 common features. So if you take any kind of respiratory system, they have three common features. So now we have to discuss that common features. So in that, let us come to the first one. What is the first common feature means? If you take any kind of respiratory organs, doesn't matter. All the respiratory organs have a large surface area to get enough oxygen. Means in the sense of they are present very wider in range. Surface area is too much. Large surface area so that understanding enough oxygen can diffuses easily. That is the first common thing in all the kind of respiratory systems. Understand? All organs. Tell me what is the first point? All the respiratory organs. Understanding? Have a large surface area. Have a large surface area. So that what will happen? To get enough oxygen. To get enough oxygen. So that is the first thing. So now, if it comes to the second one, the common point, all the respiratory organs will take, they have a very, very thin walls. Why it is very thin walls? Can you able to say? Organs have very thin walls. Why they have thin walls? Can anybody say, please? If you are really thinking.
Sir, to increase the surface area.
Is it thin? Why there? That is not the thin. If it is suppose, let me imagine, now you are moving from one side to another side. If the wall is very, very weak or is very, very thin and another wall is very, very thick.
Oxygen can easily move.
Where it can easily go?
The gases are easily moved from one.
Process called name I am asking. What is that process name? You may heard a process called as diffusion. Have you remembered?
Yes, sir. Diffusion.
So, these respiratory organs, they have very, 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 very thin wall. So that what will happen? The exchange of gases, understand? The exchange of respiratory gases, easy, understanding? Easy diffusion for exchange of respiratory gases. That is what? Why the walls is very, very thin. Do you understand, Ra? So if we take any kind of respiratory organs, this is the common thing we can observe. They have a very, very thin walls for easy diffusion of respiratory gases. Now, that is the second common point. If it comes to the third point, understand, all the respiratory organs like skin, gills and lungs except trachea. That is what you should remember. Here trachea is a little bit different. So if we take observe any kind of respiratory organs like skin, gills and lungs. Skin, gills and lungs. Anything you can take, they have a rich blood supply. Why? What is the meaning of rich blood supply? Ra? Rich blood supply means, is it any poor blood is there? Rich blood, poor blood, like that, is there anything? What is the meaning
Amount of blood.
High amount of blood is.
Rich blood supply will be there. So why the rich blood supply will be there? Can you able to
Carry
say?
out
Because
respiratory
carry
gas.
out the respiratory gases throughout the body. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that is the common thing. If you observe all the respiratory organs like skin, gills and lungs, they have rich blood supply for transporting respiratory gases. Understand? Transporting.
Respiratory gas.
And then what about cell membrane, sir?
Wait. Cell membrane, there is direct diffusion it is. There is no blood, single cell it is. Understand, Ashika?
Yes, sir.
Understand? Transporting respiratory gases. Respiratory gases. If you take cell membrane, why mean? Cell membrane direct diffusion. Understand, Ashika? There is no particular part because only it is single cell. So single cell membrane itself, there that is. Do you understand? So now,
Yes, sir.
we are not talking. But here, if you observe, one more thing is missing. So what is that? Tracheal system, which is present in cockroach. Understanding that grasshoppers and all. So this, if you'll say here, this tracheal system of respiration, there is no kind of blood supply will be there. Means oxygen is not carried by blood throughout the body, direct diffusion to the cells. So that is why here no discussion about the blood. That is why while you are discussing the respiratory system of cockroach, we will never discuss about the blood. Understand? So that is why cockroach we can call it as even bloodless animal. It contains white blood. Understand? Because blood is not involving in the transportation of respiratory organs, only in one kind of system. What is that system? What is that? Tracheal system. Understanding? Say yes
sir.
or no. So tracheal system.
Yes, sir.
What will happen? No kind of blood will be blood is not involving in transportation of gases. Only what will happen? All air reaches the cell directly. Oxygen reaches cell directly, so that there is no involvement of blood here. So this is except the third point, except the tracheal system, remaining all they have a rich blood supply because of transporting respiratory gases. Very, very important, these 3 points. Please all of you note it down. Do you understand or not? Is there anybody having any doubt? You can ask me.
Yes. Yes, sir. No. No doubt.
Because these 5 things only we are going to study in the respiration, understanding? Respiration in amoeba, respiration in earthworm, respiration in this kind of what? Grasshoppers or cockroach, everything. Next, respiration in what? 4th one, what, right? I forgot.
Fishes.
No, insect. The cockroach.
Respiration in insects, sir.
Insect, sir.
Grasshopper,
Grasshopper.
famous.
That is only tracheal system. Next, respiration in human beings.
Fishes, sir.
Fishes and all gills.
Birds,
Everything we are going to
lizards.
study. I hope you already, it is completed. Is it yes?
Yes, sir.
Sir, our spiracles and tracheas are same, sir. Ashika, this that spiracles are open holes are present on the surface. Down, if you'll observe, that is only called as trachea. Are you understanding? So through that it will enter. So inside it is like pipe attached, open pipe. Understanding? Down the pipe is attached. That is only called as tracheal system. Do you understand, Ashika? The holes which you can able to see on the surface of that is only called as spiracles. Okay, Ashika? That is overall we used to call it as tracheal system. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Is it we are everything clear or not? Any doubt, anybody?
Yes, sir.
So this
No doubt.
is over, you tell me. We have to discuss little bit things, then later we will wind up. So now, you have finished, is it correct? Now, in this also, you may observe here, the skin, gills, and as well as lungs, if you will observe, all they have a very rich supply of blood so that they can transporting the gases throughout the body. Now, if you will observe here, again some problem. So if we take the animals which are live in water, what we used to call them as? The animals which live in water, what we used to call them as? We have a name.
Aquatic animals.
Aquatic animals.
Aquatic animals.
This is most important. My students should need to speak everywhere, not only here. That is what I am saying. Communication, through well communication only we can sustain in this world. I am saying without communication you cannot do anything. So now as we know that the animals which can live inside the water, which we used to call it as what?
Aquatic.
Aquatic animals.
Aquatic.
So the animals which can live inside the water, water animals we used to call it as what?
Aquatic animals.
Understanding? Aquatic animals use the oxygen. What oxygen they will use? Is it they are absorbing directly from the air?
Dissolved oxygen.
Diffused oxygen.
Sir, diffused in water.
Oxygen dissolved in water. Dissolved in oxygen, dissolved in water. They will absorb. Understanding? To carry out respiration. So here if you observe, the amount of dissolved oxygen in water is low as compared to the amount of oxygen in the air. Is it yes or no? Compared to the
Yes,
oxygen,
sir.
if you observe in nature, it is 21%. But is it that same amount will be dissolved in water? No. Very
No,
less
sir.
percent. Compared to the air, the dissolved oxygen level is very, very less in water. So that is why the rate of breathing in aquatic animals is much and much and much faster than in terrestrial animals. Do you understand, Ra? So suppose I am taking the breathing but aquatic animals is not like that. It is much and much faster, like dog, how they can do. Why? Because very less oxygen is dissolved in water, so that to meet the enough requirement by their body, they will do the breathing. The rate of breathing is much and much faster than in land animals. Understand? So land animals, we should not write land animals. We have a name called as land animals. What is that name called as? You are
Terrestrial animal.
geography.
Terrestrial.
Terrestrial.
What we should call terrestrial animals.
Terrestrial animals.
So these terrestrial animals, compared to the terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, the respiration rate is faster or slower?
Slower.
Slower. Compared to the
According to aquatic animals,
Aquatic
terrestrial
animals, it is faster, sir.
rate is much faster.
Aquatic animals
Why?
faster.
The reason behind is
Oxygen is produced in
Dissolved
water.
oxygen is very
Dissolved
low.
oxygen.
is understanding the oxygen level is low as compared to the oxygen level in air. That is the reason. So that is why a faster rate of breathing provides more oxygen. If they are doing the breathing much faster, then that these will be provide enough oxygen for their respiration. Do you understand it? So then only they will get more oxygen to the aquatic animals. So that is why if you observe the terrestrial animals, they will use the oxygen of air or atmosphere for breathing and respiration, directly for breathing and respiration. But understand, so these terrestrial animals have an advantage over an aquatic animals in regarding to obtaining oxygen for respiration, that it is our surroundings is a full oxygen rich atmosphere. But you don't say now COVID period where people are facing oxygen problem, so that so many people are dying. Is it yes or no? Because of oxygen, even you can see hundreds of thousands of people per day where so many are passing away because of lack of oxygen. Means in the sense of oxygen is not less in atmosphere, but their respiratory system is unable to take that oxygen from the atmosphere. Is it yes or no? That is why they are dying. Yes. So we are little bit lucky actually. These all the terrestrial animals, like including human beings, we people are lucky little bit. We have a big advantage that compared to the aquatic animals. Understand? We are very oxygen rich atmosphere, so that we can easily breathe and we can easily do the respiration process, because we can get enough oxygen. The amount of oxygen which we can take from the air is well sufficient for our respiration process, and we can take whatever we want depend upon our body requirement. Understand? But if it comes to the aquatic animals, they are not. Understand? Oxygen rich atmosphere is present, so that this is the only advantage compared to the aquatic animal. Suppose you imagine we people are also aquatic animals, like atmosphere also no oxygen is present, then what will happen? Is it a humans will be like this? Now we have a energy rich oxygen is present. Understand? Oxygen rich atmosphere is present, so that we are happily. Now even we don't know that so many times unless until we are focusing, we don't know that we are breathing also. Is it yes or no? Particularly yes, I am breathing, then only I will focus. If not sleep, when I am sleep and whenever I am doing anything, I will never notice myself that I am doing the respiration. Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But suppose imagine we are also like aquatic animals. If this oxygen rich atmosphere is not there, then what will happen? There is no human will be stagnant. Always what we have to do? Like that action we should do. Is it yes or no? Like once after running, how it will be our position? The same action will be throughout our life. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So that is why we are compared to the aquatic animals, we have a little bit benefit. But We ourselves, we people are spoiling the atmosphere by cutting the trees, killing more, like ecosystem is not balanced. So many parameters, which is only most of the nature is polluting by the humans and spoiling by the humans. We are the destroyer of the nature. So because of us, even so many plants and animals become endangered. And as a responsibility, because even this COVID period, we have to save the trees